I'm back again with the reproducer, the 5B reproducer I've been playing with, getting it running and all of that. I was testing some gasket material last time that seemed to have worked out. I went over this in the last video, how the gasket material in these HMV 5A and 5Bs, probably the number 16 also, is very, very thin felt material. It's just not obtainable over here in the States, at least not anywhere I've looked. And it needed to be replaced. I had nothing else, no other felt material would work. So I sliced an exhibition tube gasket, rubber tube gasket, down one side and wrapped it around the outer edge of the diaphragm, glued it together, the ends together, and then put it back in there and clamped down on it. And it worked. It seems to work just fine. It sealed everything up good. There's no weird buzzing, and this was really buzzing badly when I got it. And I found out a number of things were wrong. One was the gasket material. Two was the needle bar had come unsoldered from the diaphragm. These are aluminum diaphragms. They are soldered to the needle bar. And while it was jammed in there good enough, it looked like it was intact. The diaphragm didn't even fall off right away. You know, I took it apart and it was hanging on there. It looked like it was canted a little bit. I looked closer and I realized it was loose. And it came off, so I resoldered that. Easy enough to do. I did have to buy a soldering iron to do it because the one I had is like from the 19th century and just would not do delicate work like that. I've been playing all kinds of records on it and I have not had any problem. Only problem I did run into was here. Oh, sirens again. Isn't it lovely? Right here, you can't even see it, but the two shell halves didn't quite want to come all the way together without my forcing them. And I did not dare do that with a pot metal back that is in such nice condition as you can see this one is. Just the tiniest gap exists there. You can't even fit a sheet of paper in there. And I sealed it up with beeswax to make sure there's no issues with it. And that's as tight as I'm going to go with it. I'm not forcing it any further. That's because even though it's only 1/2 an exhibition gasket, it is still thicker than 2 pieces of the felt gasket originally there. Nothing I can do about that, but it's okay. It's working. The owner and I agreed I should leave this alone. The isolated gasket is still soft. I could sink my fingernail into it, no problem. That's rare, but it does happen. Don't ask me how or why, but it does. And anytime you do not have to disturb that gasket in one of these backs is a good thing, because these things crack and crumble very, very easily. Sometimes just by taking out the screws, other times by trying to work loose, even with a little warm air blown onto it, work loose that rubber gasket. So if it's working good, leave it alone, especially if it's still soft like this one is. Both halves of this reproducer came apart, no problem. This back is one of the nicest I've ever seen on one of these. It is not deteriorated at all. That's amazing. You would think it's brass. It's not. It's pot metal. And it's not deteriorating at all. Let's see. What else did I have to do to it? A minor adjustment on the needle bar bearings there. That's all. That's all it really needed. And now it's playing again. I got some records here on the 102. These are all just assorted Decas I've had kicking around. Actually, they were stored in this machine, in the record tray. Most of it's Ambrose. So we'll spin a few. Some of these records do have wear. It's just, you know, that's what you get. So we'll play it, though, and it does play well. Am I ready to go here? I wound it up. I got a needle on there. Yeah, okay, we're ready to go.
Hurry up and run for your lives. Guard your home, your children, your wives. Go and lock your doors when you hear the roar saying Alabama arrives. With his thieves he's riding to town. Don't look out and don't make a sound. Though he may not slay you, he'll rob and flay you, this daring thief of renown. Alibaba, Alibaba. He'll rob and plunder, he'll tear asunder whatever stands in his way. Alibaba, Alibaba. If you want saving, go find a haven, or he will tear out your heart. Although they cheer him, his men all fear him, he'll steal whatever he can. Alibaba, Alibaba. His 40 thugs are a lot of mugs, and Ali's a dangerous man.
Well, there we go. And frankly, I think that's about all I can do with this reproducer. With the materials I have at hand, I don't think it's going to get any better. It's as good as it's going to get. It's as good as any of my other ones. So I think this job is done, and this can now be returned to its owner. I've been playing with it for weeks. But we're going to spin a few records. It's a nice evening. Humidity's not too bad. It was low temperature. It was mid-70s today. Not that bad at all for July 1st or 2nd or whatever this is. Now we'll flip this over and see what we got on the flip side. I forget. We have Street in Havana. Okay. Okay. That one plays pretty good, actually, that record. Let's try another one. At least now you know if you're stuck for gasket material on one of these things because the moths ate the felt out of the reproducer, you can get an exhibition tube gasket pretty much anywhere. They're with that white rubber tube gasket every exhibition uses. Frankly, I use that stuff in so many different, rebuilds I've done over the years of off-brand reproducers, especially where I just couldn't find any other material. Well, let's try the Memphis Blues. A little wear on there, but what are you gonna do? Worst you can do is stop the machine. Big deal. We've been there and done that a few thousand times. Let me get a needle out of here. My needles are sticking to each other because I spilled the needle bag all over the table last time I was playing with 300 needles, and I had to use a magnet to pick them all up. Otherwise, I would be a pin cushion. And magnetized needles a little bit, not the end of the world, We should crank it up. One thing with these small motors and these things, always give it a wind up whenever you're going to play a record. Yeah, you can probably get 2 plays. In fact, I know you can get 2 plays out of the brand new spring like it's in this one. But sometimes if the record's worn, it puts more pressure on the spring and it robs more power from it, and you'll run out. I think that happened the last time we were playing records. You'll run out before the end of the second play. Why do that when all you got to do is just crank it up a little bit? Memphis Blues. Let's see if she'll play good or if it's worn.
We're gonna take you down to old Memphis town to let you hear those Memphis blues. There that always listens his hair. Oh Lordy, how he pulls on his bow. And when you hear that tune, listen to the trombone croon. They moan just like a sinner on revival day. Revival day, that melancholy strain, that ever haunting refrain, is like a darky moan in a song. Here comes the very heart that wraps a spell around my heart. Here's the very part that wraps a spell around my heart. It sets me wild to hear that lovely tune again, those Memphis blues. Honey, I've been down to Memphis town, where the people smile on you all the while. Hospitality, they were good to me, although I couldn't spend a dime, I had the grandest time. I went out a-dancing with a Tennessee dear. A fellow there named Handy had a band you should hear. And while they gently swayed, all those darkies how they played in real harmony. Fiddler there just flicks his hair. Oh Lordy, how he pulls on his bow when you hear that tune. Listen, those trombones moan just like a sinner on revival day. That melancholy strain with its haunting refrain seems to be like a darky song. Here it comes, wraps a spell around my heart.
Ha! It triggered the auto stop a little early. That's unusual. I heard it clicking. Didn't think it would do that though. Okay. Not the end of the world. We will simply play another one. Limehouse Blues. All right, that's another long one. Oh boy, we better crank that up again. Sticky needles, of course. Here we go. Before the night is done, one of them's going to stick me, probably. Get in there. Come on. There you go. Let's see if it'll do it again. If it does, then it's not the record. It means I have to adjust the auto stop a little bit. That time it worked okay. They could be temperamental sometimes. Okay. Even though by the time this one or two was made, about 1935, they did have access finally to the Columbia auto stop mechanism, and they used it. What's next? How about Serenade and Waltz of the Flowers? Okay. Let's try not to drop records on the ground. Again, that is Ambrose. These are all pretty much Ambrose in this slot. Not sure why exactly, but for some reason, I think this all came from the same collection. That's what it was, and I stuck it on the record tray to test them, and I just didn't get around to it right away. Well, I'm testing them now. All right, let's go. far, so good. I've probably played, I don't know, 50, 60 records with this reproducer just to make sure it's not going to fail. And I want it to fail if it's here with me, not when it gets back to the owner who lives a great distance away in another country. So this is where you want it to have a problem. But so far, records have had problems, but not the reproducer. The reproducer's been fine. There's been no issues with it. It seems to be working. My experimentation has paid off this time. Only thing about it is, every 25 years or so, just like with any other reproducer that uses rubber gaskets, they will probably harden up and need to be replaced. But here's to hoping that 20 years from now, you will still be able to get exhibition tube gasket to fix it. I mean, that's about as generic a gasket as you can find. And it's been around since, what, 1900? I don't think it's ever really been out of production. So I imagine it's going to be around for a while yet. A lot of us use exhibition reproducers, and we're going to need that gasket material.